Welcome back to Inspiring Builds. I'm Dan, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to build wooden Christmas trees the easy way. These make excellent gifts with Christmas around the corner. I will also show you how they can make you an extra $1,000 to $2,000 or more this holiday season. If you're new here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss any of these tutorials. One board is all that is needed to build both trees that is 8 feet long, and I used a pine 1x3 from the big box store. We will need one 12-inch board, one 6 3/4 inch board, and 7 6-inch boards that will complete all the cuts for the large tree. We will need one 4 3/4 inch board, 6 4-inch boards, and use one of the 6-inch boards previously cut for the small tree. Each tree gets 8 boards, and unlike some plans, this design uses 6 of the 8 boards for each tree being the same dimensions with nice round numbers. Not only does one 8-foot board make 2 trees, but they will nest inside each other for shipping or storage. Before starting on the build, I do a dry fit for each tree. I'm using a miter saw that I will provide a link below and set it to 30 degrees. Like I mentioned, this is the easy method and all cuts will be done at 30 degrees, so you can set it and forget it. Make the first 30-degree cut at the end of the board, as all of the cuts will be 30 degrees. I will not bore you with all the cuts, but I will show you how to make fast and accurate repeatable cuts using scrap wood that we already have laying around as a stop block to be able to make a bulk amount of these trees quickly and easily. After each cut, ensure to rotate the board so that the longest part of the board is flush against the fence and against the stop block. After making the first cut, measure that it is 6 inches. Which this one is, right on the nose. It's now a piece of cake to cut a bunch of them in bulk. Just remember to rotate the board after each cut. For safety, wear proper PPE such as safety glasses and ear protection. An important call out when using a stop block is to ensure the blade has stopped before raising the saw for safety purposes to prevent kickback. I've received feedback from others stating they've cut 24 trees in 1 hour using this same 30-degree flipboard technique with a stop block. You can use a sander or a flexible sanding sponge prior to assembly. This sponge has 80 grit on one side and 120 on the other. A fine 120 grit is what I would recommend and makes quick work out of it without being too abrasive. I chose a sponge for this process to show you that it's easy to do by hand if you're limited on tools. With sanding being the most boring part, I'll cover the strategy to make $1,000 to $2,000 this holiday season. Sell 33 pairs at $35 each for $1,155 in revenue. The cost of materials is $135. That includes 33 1x3 boards, 3 different colors of paints, and 3 different stain colors, leaving a net profit of $1,020. When doing sales, my technique has always been multiples and powers of suggestion, such as being excellent Christmas gifts. Selling an average of 2 sets per customer would be over $2,000 and is easily attainable. For assembly, I use Titebond wood glue and 1 1/4 inch brad nails. I will link this brad nailer below as it makes assembly super quick and easy. Before starting, find a straight edge and clamp it to the edge of the workbench. I had a plain down piece of lumber, but later showed that you can use a variety of materials such as steel or even a level. I see a lot of people struggling to get a nice tight joint when attempting to assemble the base and top sections. My technique is to take the 12-inch base and clamp it to the straight edge. Do a dry fit with the 6-inch board to make up the lower limbs of the tree. Apply a bead of wood glue and fasten each lower limb with 2 brad nails. Remove the clamps from the base and set it aside. Grab a 6-inch board and 6 3/4 inch board for the top of the tree. Do a dry fit and clamp down the 6-inch board the same way we did the base. Apply a bead of glue and shoot it with 2 brad nails. Now the top and bottom sections are assembled. Clamp the base back to the straight edge and do a dry test fit. Once everything is aligned, assemble 6-inch midsections by applying glue and 2 brads on each side. You have the technique now. Apply glue on both sides of the top section and fasten the top with 2 brads on each side. Remove the clamp and the base can be assembled. Measure to the midpoint on the 12-inch section and 6-inch section. Apply glue and shoot 4 brads to secure the base. We now have our larger tree. Similar to the large tree, I clamped a straight edge to the workbench, this time using a piece of steel. Assembly is the same technique with the base being 6 inches and 2 lower limbs being 4 inches. I want to take the time to thank you if you made it this far in the video. Let me know in the comments what color paint or stain you prefer, and I'll be sure to reply to your comment or question first. Assemble the top with clamping down the 4-inch board and gluing and shooting 2 brads in the 4 3/4-inch board for a nice tight joint. Clamp down the base and do a dry fit. Assemble the midsections with the 4-inch boards, applying a bead of glue and 2 brads on each side. Assemble the top the same way with glue on each side along with 2 brads. Measure to the midpoint on the 6-inch section and 4-inch section. Apply glue and shoot 4 brads to secure the base. The smaller tree is now assembled. I really like the look of these smaller trees. I applied wood filler to cover the brad nails, with me keeping these a natural look. When I go with a darker rustic look, I leave the brad nails exposed, and they can only be seen if you're looking for them. The choice of finish is up to you, as you can leave them natural or apply a paint or stain color. You can hand sand, or a sander with 120 grit makes quick work out of it. I really appreciate you watching. In my next video, I will show you a higher quality tree and show you a technique of how to assemble it without using a brad nailer or nails. If you like this video, I have another one queued up for you in the corner that you'd probably like as well. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified when I release new videos.